Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm waiting on the guest that's supposed to come in today and talk about today's subject is on miracles. I hope everyone's having a great day. Don't forget the thumbs up, subscribe, and share this video. So we have Laura in the chat. Good to see you, Laura. Glad you're here. But it's finally warmed up here in southern Indiana, and the humidity has come back in. But after all, it is summertime, so we'll give it just a few more minutes for people to come in, and then we'll get started on our topic for today. So, on our topic for today. Usually it takes a few minutes for that notification to get out there. So we'll wait on everyone to come in, but I'm really excited about this because, it speaks of we're going to speak of the miracles that are in the Bible, and it's just amazing to know that we serve a God that performs miracles even today, and it was even done in biblical times before his crucifixion. Excuse me, I can't talk. Crucifixion. So we'll give it just a few more minutes, and I hope everyone's doing well today. So I did receive some good information today about a certain report. I'm doing good, Laura, that I was supposed to have gotten, and I did get it in my email, thank goodness, because I've got a lot of paperwork to fill out. Okay, yeah, see, sometimes there is that lag in YouTube sometimes. And like I said, we're waiting on our guest that's going to speak as well with me as well. And there's Gigi. Hello, sweetheart. Good to see you. I hope you're doing okay today. So, but I was just so excited about this because it just, miracles are a wonderful thing, be it no matter, what we pray about and what we ask for. God is listening, and of course, He does things in His own time, but that's the glory of God, and we are not to question His timing, even though a lot of us are impatient. But there is a time for everything. There is a reason, and for everything there is a season. So we'll give it just a few more minutes. I don't know. I do not see Bryan yet. If I have wings come in the channel, I'll drop the link to this live in the chat, and she's welcome to come up here just in case. We always want to have our bases covered. So Bryan may have gotten detained or something. It might be an emergency. So we just never know what awaits us, every day in life, but yeah, that's true, Laura. He's usually right on time, even though, we feel like, we're, as humans, we are impatient. That is one of our frailties, but, sometimes it's worth the wait. We have to be, vigilant in our prayers. And God does answer those prayers. It may not be in the time that we think He is, but He does answer prayers. And thank goodness for that, because, the life down here on earth would be unbearable for sure. I know that. So let's see how far we're in. And like I said, Bryan may have had something come up beyond his control, but there's always the next time. So we'll catch the time on that. We are 4 minutes in. So at the 5-minute mark, we will begin our topic, and it is about, do miracles exist? And I absolutely have to say they do, because I've had experienced some things myself that I know that, that it was a miracle. Because what a miracle is where all logic and everything is kind of thrown out the window, and we don't it exceeds what the normal human can really think about. But there are, from what I understand, there are 37 miracles documented in the Bible, but there were many more, and there were some also performed by other people in the Bible, like Elish. He performed more miracles than any other prophet. And then Musa had 9 miracles. So a lot of these miracles were recorded in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So, the most miraculous miracle is when Jesus was crucified on the cross and he rose on the third day. The tomb was empty and he was definitely alive. That in itself is a wonderful miracle, plus all the other things, that creating the earth in 6 days, he did all this in 6 days, and then when he looked upon what he created, he was well pleased. So he rested on that seventh day. But miracles truly do exist. I know hey Angie, welcome in. And there's just just like when the Israelites were enslaved in the Bible for 400 years, not 4 days, not 4 hours, 400 years. And Moses was the spokesperson in that, and he was God's messenger, and he told the Romans to let his people go, and so he didn't do it. So there were many things that befell them because they did not do it. After all, they were in bondage for 400 years, and that's a long time. And then a miracle that went along with that was the parting of the Red Sea, when the Roman soldiers were advancing on the Israelites, and Moses had his staff and parted the sea to actually get them to safety. And even after that, it wasn't a walk in the park, because there were other things that happened as well. And just like the where he took the fishes and fed 5,000, that's another miracle. Him walking on the water, causing the blind to see, the deaf to hear, and the healing that Jesus Christ actually performed when he was down here on earth, and was later betrayed and crucified by someone he thought he could trust. But, just like when Jesus appeared to his apostles, they were frightened, they didn't believe it, and Jesus put his hand up and had them put their finger in the hole that the nails went through on the cross. So then they realized that it wasn't their imagination. This was indeed the Messiah, and they fell down and worshiped him. So really, another miracle is him creating what he did in 6 days, which was very vast, But, I believe in miracles. I believe miracles happen every day. And like Josie said, you'll experience a miracle if you open up your heart. And that was one thing that stood out to me from the last video I had. And she's so true, because, first of all, some people don't believe in God, which I don't see why they don't, because he is the creator of all things. But sometimes people, they call it luck or whatever. It is not luck. It is the grace of God that people experience. It's not anything that man does, because You just cannot raise another biblical thing in the Bible is where Lazarus was raised from the dead. That's another miracle. And there's really only 37 recorded miracles in the Bible, where there are several, but that are the only ones that were recorded in the Bible. Speaking of Bibles, we have an anonymous donor that when I do the drawings, that this person will send the Bible to the person as long as it's within the U.S. And she asked not to be recognized for this. And I thought, what a wonderful thing that was, to have someone do that, because, you can't, we got to put that word out there, because life is short. And from the things that are happening today, we can see a vast change from like even 2 years ago, where everything is going crazy, so to speak. And, we don't know the time or the hour of his coming. But we do know one thing, that those who do not know Christ and have not repented and do not love him with their heart, body, mind, and soul are going to face that second death. And that, I would rather live in eternity where there's no crying, sobbing, and there's only joy, because this world up here is really something else. But we have that promise of an eternity with him. And yes, there are requirements. You can't fake believing in him, because he'll know the difference. And, he doesn't expect you to be perfect, but he does expect you to apply yourself and be truthful, But miracles, have been around for a long time, but like I said, Bryan may have gotten held up or something, might be an emergency, but we'll go ahead and we'll talk about the miracles, because that was the plan. If I can get, the next one will be Angels Among Us, and that I'm going to invite Angel Wing on with me, because she does have a testimony to the fact that angels do exist. And how wonderful is that going to be, to hear that? I've never heard the story, but I think it's going to be amazing. And it just, but it's very interesting when you delve into the Bible about the miracles, who performed them, and just the general information within its pages. But I think somewhere along the line, we're also going to have something about idolatry and blasphemy. The reason why I decided that will be worked into the lineup, because I had a comment. I'm not going to reveal who it was, but it mentioned something about idolatry and blasphemy, which those are two very strong words. And I think she may have taken that short out of context, because, the picture of Jesus is a depiction. Yeah, John 2:30 performed many other miracles that his disciples saw. Those miracles are not written in the book, right? But to me, there have been many depictions of Jesus. They're going by what people may have looked like back then. And that's so that people can connect with who they're praying to and know, and idolatry, that I always thought that was worshiping an object or a structure other than the living God. And blasphemy is the thing that gets you in a lot of trouble. That is the unpardonable sin. But anyway, that will be in the works, because, I thanked them for their comment, because everyone has their own opinion. But I went by what I understood of the Bible, and, so that's coming. Idolism and blasphemy can't connect to the link Hang on, Bryan, just a second. We're gonna get you connected here. Let me see. Let me copy something and drop it in the chat, and hopefully we can do this. Let's see. Let's set that. Let me go to, hang on, let me go to StreamYard and I'll copy it and I'll drop it in the chat. Sorry, Bryan. Sorry about that. Let me do this real quick. So let's go into, alrighty then. Come on now. Don't be doing me like that. Hang on just a minute, Bryan. We'll get you up here. I can't believe some of these. Okay, let's do this. I don't know if I should go ahead and send the link again or what. No, we'll do it this way. We'll copy it. Then we'll do this way and let's see. And hopefully we can drop it this way. Like I said, don't claim to be, oh, come on now. Let's see if this works. There we go, Bryan. I'm dropping it in the chat from my phone and see if that won't let you come in, sweetheart. Okay, Bryan. I understand mechanical difficulties. They can be very frustrating, but there's the link. Okay, Bryan. We're all excited about having you on, and so we'll give Bryan just a few minutes. I know sometimes when you're dealing with electronic things, it can be very frazzling at times, but each thing that we get through, we learn more. And, I'm not saying I'm an authority, but I am picking up, But another thing that truly amazed me was that I have 123 subscribers already, you guys. And that is amazing. I'm only 3 weeks in, you guys. And I think that in itself is just amazing. The last short, oh my God, you guys, I can't believe this. Well, I can because God's involved. The last short that I dropped with, it wasn't the nails that held Jesus to the cross, but the love. That got 2K views. 2K. And what that tells me is that there are people out there that believe, and that's mind-boggling to look at that. But that picture belonged to, my lighting ain't the best, and I have a green screen. Okay, Bryan, come on up and we'll see if we can't do something with that. But this picture belonged to my father-in-law. He passed a couple years ago, and I can recall going into his bedroom and I saw that beautiful picture. And I said, I want that picture. And of course, I'm his daughter-in-law. So I did get it. Bryan, you can leave the camera off if you want. Yeah, that's true. Okay, Bryan. That's true, Laura. And thank you so much for your help. I really appreciate you. I know I've got a phone here that's about ready to kick the can, but I'm just in awe about how sometimes it's about the outreach. And I think, and I put, what a hefty price Jesus paid for our sins. And I think that got people's attention. And We're at 2K views, you guys. That is amazing. Amazing. I love that. I knew I had last night. I was at like 101.9, but I just looked at this and this just totally blew me away. I was just really amazed by the response to this short. So that just goes to show that, I think I did this for the 15 seconds. That just goes to show that people do need to be reminded of, I put it out there because people need to be reminded, I can't talk, of Jesus and the price he paid for all of us. And I don't think that can be remembered enough because after all, it doesn't work right. I will do it on my phone. Okay, Bryan, hun. I'll keep gabbing. I've got that. But it's doing, this channel is doing exactly what I wanted it to do, and the outreach. But yes, we do need to be reminded of the price that was paid for us. God's love is eternal and unchanging, and there are really no human words that can really describe the love that he has for his children. And it's just mind-boggling. But yes, we often have things with our equipment. How well I know that, Bryan, but we'll wait on you, sweetie. Don't worry. Remember, worrying is a sin. So, because if you worry, then you're questioning God, really, because he knows what's best for you, and he wants you to know that he is there with you, and he has been with you since the beginning of your birth, and so on and so forth. But it's just so interesting how the Bible, it is so interesting to know that Jesus was not the only one that performed the miracles. He had other ordained people that were very holy in their own right that performed the miracles as well. And like I said, a lot of the miracles are recorded in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John in the Bible. And these are pretty well-known verses, I'm sure. So, hey, Jason, welcome in. We're talking about miracles, and we're just about ready to have our guest up here, and he's going to tell you about the miracle that he experienced. But thank God it's not hot up here. But anyway, welcome in, Jason. I really appreciate you coming in. Jason's like my little brother, because I have to say little because I know I'm older than him, but not by much, right, Jason? I miss you too, Jason. Jason, he's one of those loving, rascally kind of guys. You got to love him. He'll tease you, but he only does it because he loves you. That's why he does that. So, and we love you, Jason. He is just such a sweet person. And you know me, I ain't going to tell you something if I don't believe it myself. So, but, any miracle, big or small, if you take it to God, he does hear you, and he does understand what you're going through, and he will grant. I adore you too, Jason. He may not grant that at the drop of a pen, but I tell you what, he's working on it, because some things have to happen before, everything goes full circle, and things do have to happen before, we just don't get what we want. We have to be persistent in praying about it, believing it. Like Josie said, miracles happen every day if you just open up your heart. And that was the most beautiful. And Miss Angie is here and she's feeding Lincoln, her little grandson, which is so adorable. Those grandmas, they get their time in. And he is adorable. If you've seen him on Facebook, he is really a cutie pie. Then she has a beautiful granddaughter, and what a blessing children are to parents as well as grandparents. There's there's a different bond between the moms and the grandmothers. It's different. It's alike, but yet it's similar, if that makes sense. So, but anyway, but that's what we're talking about. And I'm upstairs, and thank goodness it's not real hot at the moment. But yes, I'm sure that, you know, and, I do believe there's guardian angels. I know that. And the next person that I want to have come on here is Angel Wing, because she had said in the chat that she did experience that. And I think people need to know about that. And I know they exist. They saved my skin more than once. So I know they exist. I mean, when you're in a car and it was nighttime and my car sat kind of low to the ground and I was coming home and I clicked my lights down out of respect for the oncoming car. That's what we should do. Do people do it all the time? No, they don't. And it's like I never took my eyes off the road. And there it was, that it was a little deer. And all I seen was the side of his profile. And I can still see it to this day. It was like time actually stood still. And it looked like invisible hands took that deer's body and it ended up on the other side of the road. But by all laws of gravity, it should have come through my windshield. And I couldn't even talk. And of course, we had to have a report because there was damage. And the policeman said, "Do you want the deer?" I said, "No, I think I've had enough of that deer for one afternoon." But I know I saw that, and it was like slow motion. And by all laws of gravity, that deer should have came through my windshield. And I know there was an angel there that night. Like I said, I clicked my lights down because you do it for respect out of the other. Just because other people don't respect people don't mean that I don't have to. And you click your lights down, and boy, I looked up and there it was, and boom, just like that. And but yeah, I'm sure that we've all had close shaves that maybe we kind of wrote it off as luck. That was the heavenly intervention, I'm telling you right now, because a miracle is something that defies all logic. You're like scratching your head. Wait a minute, how that just happened? That doesn't fit into that thing where, that of natural events. But yes, I saw a car hit my car once, but nothing happened. My husband, bless his heart, he was at a stop sign. I'm not laughing. It's just kind of comical. And he was stopped, and this lady hit him right in the rear end. And of course, they had to call the police, and she was putting makeup on. And I said, "Well, how'd you know?" He said he saw her coming. She said she would just, Confucius say, putting makeup in while operating car gets you in big trouble. But yeah, she was putting makeup on, and boom. She was probably late for work, and she was definitely guilty. She's the one that rear-ended him. So not only did she have to pay for someone's vehicle, she was late for work and got a citation altogether. So her lax in judgment got her in trouble. So, but yeah, I got hit one time. The paramedics couldn't believe that I was standing up. But yeah, I got, one time I got hit. I was turning out on the highway, and this guy that was drunk crossed over the line in a no passing zone and hit me in the door. And I had a Camaro, and the impact just broke that entire window. And I didn't know who hit me. He wouldn't come across the street to see if I was alive or dead. And I remember what I said right before this happened, because I didn't see him coming. And I said, "Oh my God." And I'm so glad that I didn't have my daughter with me at that time, because she was the baby. I was going to go get diapers. And and the paramedic said, "Are you hurt? Are you?" I said, "No, I got right out of the car." They said, "If you have any pain, you get to the emergency room." I said, "I'm just shook up. I've got a lot of adrenaline." Meanwhile, the police had him in the car, and I could smell liquor. We both were in the car, not because I was under arrest, because he was. And whatever he was drinking when he hit me was all over him and his car. And he said, "Well, I think it was both our faults." I said, "How do you figure that when you didn't yield the right of way to the car in front of you? How do you figure that?" So I don't know what his blood alcohol was. He was taken in, but I know that there was heavenly intervention, because that door, the paramedics could not believe that I was up and walking, because I was protected by a guardian angel. It wasn't that I'm a superhero, because we know I'm not. I was protected. So, okay, Jason, I'm going to ask you, have you ever had a miracle occur in your life, Jason? I may have you come up here, Jason. The link is in the chat. But I think Bryan is still working on it. He may be having technical difficulties. So, anyway, Jason's thinking she put me on the spot. I think we've got somebody coming in. Do we have Bryan? Let's take a look, y'all. Do we have Bryan? I bet we do. So, we have Bryan. He's having. Yes,
Can you
Bryan.
hear me?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome.
I'm
Can
sorry.
you see the green screen? Oh, does it look like a light?
It looks
But
like a black square, like an oblong black square.
can you see me now?
No, hon, I can't see you.
We're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you. That's what it says. All right, Cam at the bottom, Mike. See, I think I got to hit Cam.
Right, because you have to have your camera on, yes. Then I can hear you just fine.
All right. I think the green screen is not far enough up.
Okay, we have an icon. Is that your car, Bryan?
No, just a picture. Oh, boy.
You're fine, hon. If you can't, you can still do your testimony. Thank you for being here, Bryan.
You can put me on. I'm fine.
Do what?
I said, you can put my face on. That's okay.
Let me see, though. I'm getting your icon, and that's it.
All right. Let's see.
Don't you love the world of...
It says Mike, Cam, chat. It says more. I'm on the phone.
Okay.
How do I get that changed?
I don't know, Bryan. I'm the illiterate one here for sure.
All right, let me just see. I'm clicking where it says more. It should camera audio.
Mm-hmm.
Track camera again.
Okay, because you should pop
Facing
on.
back, facing front. Let me try. Camera
You're
facing front.
you're fine, Brian. I know the pains of the technology part of it.
Mm. Facing front. Let me see. Facing back. Mm. What does it show now?
It just has your icon with the car in the center of the circle. There
I'm
we
trying
go.
to get that thing off of there. That's just one of the icons that I had on the thing that I could use.
I know sometimes these phones are equipped with more things than we truly understand. I know what you
All
mean.
right, so if I hit chat, I can see the chat, right?
Yeah, you should be able to make sure you're in live
That
chat.
with everyone in the studio. Hmm. All right. This says comments.
Right. Make sure you're on live chat.
All right. Then it says join the chat at the bottom.
There you go.
Connect to comment. Connect to YouTube. All right. I can see some of the comments.
Laura said try clicking on the camera and see what happens.
Hmm. Okay, I can change that.
Okay, you're fine.
Well, I guess I cut my laptop and try to see if I can get back on that other thing.
Mm-hmm.
On
If
the
you want
No, you're all right. You're all right.
to, okay.
I'm good.
It says stop camera is an off and on toggle.
There's stuff on my laptop screen I can't get off. I don't understand that.
Oh
It's just
wow.
an issue I'm having. You know, a little X at the top where you try to go out of.
Laura, do you think him going back out and coming back in would help?
You can hear it, can't you?
I can hear that bing bing. Yeah, I can hear
That's the laptop.
that laptop is being very difficult today, and
Yep, it's gonna be getting something else soon. Okay, well, it's doing that. But go. I have StreamYard account. With that, I do have StreamYard. See how I could do that. What if I go
okay.
to that? If I can change something on there.
I don't know. You're talking to somebody that's kind of when it comes to that.
You're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you. Comments, settings. Then it says cancel.
Hmm. We said that about at the same time. I know it has something to do with the camera because a lot of times when people have like auctions, someone will go into their little thing
Oh.
like that. See what I'm talking about?
Well, I guess I go back. I'm here.
Okay, Brian. As you know, we're talking about miracles. Don't worry about your camera. It's what you tell us is really the most important, not that we don't want to see you. But anyway, we were talking about miracles, and you had said in the chat that the doctors told you that you would never walk again. You want to elaborate about that?
I was about 9 years old, and I just started falling down. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I noticed it one day when I was walking to the bus, and then they put me in the hospital. I went down here. MCV in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Was MCV or BCU now? That was 1980.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I stayed in there 3 weeks, and they're just checking me for different things, Parkinson's disease, and it's a muscle. It was a muscle problem. It's called
Mm-hmm.
dystonia. Dystonia. If anybody ever wants to look it up.
Mm-hmm.
So I think after I was diagnosed with that, I think I kept getting worse. Falling down and then like going to a walker and all that stuff, a walking
Mm-hmm.
cane, things like that. I'm trying to think, I'd done that for a couple of years. Then I was in a wheelchair for a couple of years. Anyway, they told me I won't go walk again. Don't think about don't think about driving, walking, or anything. Don't
Mm-hmm.
think about doing anything. Then put me in special education. They said, well, you ain't gonna be able to keep up with everybody else. So, which I didn't need to go in there, but I guess some children, if they're handicapped, they'll just put them in that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I want to stay in the regular classes. But anyway, like I said, the wheelchair about 2 years. I just lay down one night. I don't know. Some just told me I was dreaming something. I'm gonna make you walk so I can show other people that I can do it. I ain't never forget that, and still, well, as you know, you can't explain that.
Mm-hmm.
And I woke up that day and I threw it up. I grabbed the walker. It's just I don't know how to explain that part.
Mm-hmm.
Bed and I don't know what happened. And I went to sleep and waking up the next morning. So I said it's got to be a miracle.
Mm-hmm. So the doctor's written you off, and
oh yeah, mm-hmm.
it's amazing how doctors make these diagnoses, but in the same breath, they're not looking at an alternative to help that person. But let me tell you something. They make mistakes, and God does not. He doesn't make mistakes.
Right. Exactly right.
It's amazing what I'm sure that the night before you woke up, that God was speaking to you.
I believe that. I believe it.
And you're probably like, "Where's that voice coming from?" But
it's something you can't explain.
Yeah. See, that's a miracle. Something that happens that there's no logical explanation.
It's kind of funny at the time, but it ain't funny, I guess. Everybody kept saying, "Was you just making it like you couldn't walk?" You just, some of maybe the friends, or some younger people. Well, that was kind of strange to deal with for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "No, I just started back walking. I don't have the answer to it." But I guess they didn't understand. Probably a lot of older people didn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like I said, something you can't explain, and nobody could understand it.
Right. Because they haven't been touched by a miracle. And some people don't believe in anything they cannot see. And that's, in fact, what, we know that was God. It had to have been. The doctors.
Yeah.
Did any of the doctors ask you, well, why are you walking? You wasn't supposed to be been. And then what was your comment to that?
What do you mean?
Say when you went for a doctor's appointment and they saw your condition and you were walking, did they say anything to you about, well, you shouldn't be walking? Did they kind of allude to something like that?
Oh yeah, they wanted to. well, someone wanted to take credit for this. Well, I tried him on a certain medication, and that works for this, so it probably took. Well, it was considered muscle and nerve. The muscles would pull,
Mm-hmm.
like cramps or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, they wanted to say it was something else and keep changing. The ones that
Mm-hmm.
was not wrong. It's just something can't
Brian, your
explain.
miracle saved you from being a guinea pig. No
Oh
telling
yeah,
what
I
they would
was.
have tried,
I
and
was.
God spared you from that because they would have. They like to get that. They get surgery on their mind, or well, I can do this and I
Oh
can
yeah,
do
they want
that.
they want to me to go to the St. Barbara's Hospital in New York City and put this battery thing in the back of my head.
Oh
They would hook
wow.
the wires. Yeah, hook the wires to your span and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that way they could just do different things to make you the body move in certain ways.
Mm-hmm.
I told them I wasn't a robot.
And
Same thing.
meanwhile, they stuff their pockets with the money.
Oh yeah, they made plenty of it.
Oh
Probably
my.
had good insurance, so they they get plenty out of that. I ain't got the chat. I can't see the chat streaming.
You can't see it.
Uh-uh.
Laura
Everyone.
said, unexplainable, so sounds like a miracle. Yeah, that's what a miracle is.
Oh, I see that one now.
Can you see it? Okay, good. But
Yeah, yes. Unexplainable, so it sounds like a miracle. Yeah, you're right.
right. And it's so dangerous to mess with somebody's brain and the spinal cord and that all.
Oh,
You
I
can't
know.
address one without having problems with the other one. So
Yeah. I can
I'm
remember
so.
one thing that scared me the
Mm-hmm.
most. Doctor was talking to my father,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, when you put him in the bathtub, you have to, disconnect that. Just trying to explain to him
Mm-hmm.
whatever they put in there. And that's when I just, I don't want that, I don't want that. And I said, I didn't know that when they disconnected that to do anything like that, get in the water and all that stuff, that you can't do anything. That scared me
Mm.
most about that.
I bet you were glad to be free of those experimental doctors,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, trying me on
because
different medications and all that.
when
Some of
you
the
mess.
stuff they done to me in the hospital, they didn't even tell my parents or get permission to do it. So
Wow, they was just
I was
really
too young to
brazen.
do. Yeah, I was too young to be able to do anything about it.
Yeah,
And what they didn't see, they didn't know what some of the
Brian,
stuff the doctors were doing.
you were being victimized. You had this
Oh, you're right.
condition,
Guinea pig.
and they put you in the hospital without you. That's the first people that's to be called. If you're under 18, oh, unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me what state? Do you live in the same state that this occurred in?
Yes, Virginia.
Yeah,
I'm
you had
about
that.
28 miles south of VCU.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? UVA, VCU, MCV, the Medical College of Virginia.
Yeah,
So I
you
guess
have
they
that. I could
and it
hear
changed the name.
your accent. Not, I'm not making, but I could hear that you were possibly deep in the South there.
Oh yeah, I'm just like in the country.
They tell me I've got that. I'm from Kentucky myself, so they tell me I've got
Yeah,
that.
you do a little bit. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I see Laura's comment. I think what
Mm,
first unexplainable was, like I was protecting you from medical treatment. Yes.
mm-hmm.
And what if I took that? I mean, I don't put down, certain things that people have to do, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But if I'd have done that, I probably wouldn't have. That's just weird.
Yeah, once they start messing with your brain and all of that back there, they
Mm-hmm.
could have messed you up for life. So
Yeah.
God protected you from those that situation for sure. And you're walking today. What a wonderful story that is. It's great.
Yeah. Sometimes I have a little problem with one of my legs, and I
Mhm.
fell a few times years back.
Mhm.
And I will use walking sometimes on concrete, asphalt.
Mhm.
Just don't want me to fall off again because I got a tiny bit of scoliosis. I will
Okay.
fall. Yeah, that thing I don't think come from that, but being in a wheelchair for 2 years, I don't, I guess different things can happen. The way your
Yeah.
spans are laying.
Right. Then your muscles, when you're in that chair, your muscles get weak and stuff like that, and it almost renders you where you can't walk
Exactly
anyway.
right.
So, did the doctors suggest any physical therapy for you at all?
Yeah, they done a lot of that,
Did
and
they?
with the nerves pulling on the muscles, it was
Mm.
like one thing was messing up another thing when they try to do different things.
Kind of like a car, when you replace something else goes out. It's one of those kind of,
Oh
except we're human.
yeah.
But my husband, he one day he was outside mowing the grass, and he came in and got in the recliner, and one leg was numb. A couple hours later, the other leg was numb, and he could not feel anything from his waist down, but he could walk. So naturally, I
Mm.
take off from work and take him down to emergency, and they put him in a room. And they thought it was Gillian's beret, where it can paralyze you.
That's
But
right.
you ought to have seen them taking that. How many times it took them to draw that spinal fluid with that big
Oh,
long needle. That's
mm-hmm.
when you're at their mercy. But there was not enough protein in that sample to say that's what it was. But I I think he's got spinal stenosis for one, and he's got
Mm-hmm.
arthritis for two. And when arthritis flares up, it causes inflammation. So he went through a lot, and I was, phew.
Yeah, they done Spinal Tap on me.
Did they?
Well, when they first tried to do it, one of the doctors said, "Oh, I think I've done that the wrong way." I'm the
Hmm.
only one who ever was, heard that. I hope they didn't do anything different to me.
Yeah,
Yeah, they took the fluid and done whatever. I was a guinea pig.
I know, and
Think
that's
about it.
terrible. When
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about a human being here that has feelings,
Yep.
that that has pain, and you got these have these doctors, and they don't know it all, but you would think they did.
That's right.
That putting a person. How old were you, Brian, when this happened?
But when it started, all started,
Mm-hmm.
I think I was about 9 or 10 years old.
Oh wow! So you've had a very long.
Yeah, up until teenage, probably 15, 16.
Wow.
But
So.
I was happy for
Mm-hmm.
some reason. I could dealt with it. Some gave me. I wanted to wake up every day and do something. I didn't complain, like, well, I can't walk. I'm not gonna be able to do it. I
Mm-hmm.
crawled. It took. I'd done it anyway. I found a way to do everything, to write, to eat, and all that kind of stuff. I ain't
Wow.
not let anything. Yeah, I didn't let nothing stop me.
So you were in
Some
quite
gave
the
me the care.
condition then.
Some gave me the courage to do it. I never
Mm-hmm.
gave up.
Yeah, and that's the key. Do not give up. You only fail if you quit, is what I always heard. But that is, and the things that you went through, God bless you, because I know you went through a lot, and I
Oh
especially wanted
yeah.
to tell it because I knew that you had a lot to say. Because sometimes
Yeah,
the things,
oh man, answer the questions. Oh man, mm-mm.
some things we
My
go
mother, my
through.
mother, she was there for me all the time, and
Oh,
now, I think that's why I'm like I am by her.
yeah,
You know, always making sure they do this and do that, and don't do nothing they're supposed to do.
right. You're just keeping people honest. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
You know, that's your mother. You only get one of them. And
I see. I don't know if the chat, if there's anybody in it or if it's moving. I see where Laura typed in.
everybody's listening to you. You got the floor there. Everybody's intrigued by what
I
you're.
see not. I mean, I can't see the chat moving. I didn't know if it just stopped or.
Nah, we're just, everybody's listening and they're so amazed by, your story of, you
No,
know,
somebody like want to ask me a question. That's the only egg of it. It says connect your YouTube account to join the live chat. I
hey,
don't.
Gigi, they're all here. Gigi said, I'm here. We are
Trying
just
to see
all,
why I can't see everybody. Oh, I see Gigi. Yeah.
there you go. Yes,
Yeah.
everyone. It's just amazing because you were just a child when all this got started. And
Yeah, and and I try to help younger people now and talk to them about things because they're
mhm,
just like the littlest things nowadays. Teenagers they don't do well with some things.
that's
How
true.
I was just happy, I guess, teenager. That's kind of unusual for to have that much going on with you and still be willing to keep going.
There's so many things out there today than there were 10 years ago. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff, and some of it's not good. And
Mm.
there's so much pressure on these teenagers, and it can be
Yeah.
overwhelming. There's bullying, which happens in schools, and a lot of times they turn a blind eye to what's going on to the point where that child eventually takes their life. You know,
Oh
back
yeah.
in
Oh
back
yeah. Uh-huh.
back in the day, if you was a bully, they'd pull you right up off your chair and take you to the office, and you'd get paddled, and you'd get it again when you got home for
Oh,
disobedience.
speaking of that, when I was like I said, coming down with it, and I couldn't use my arm or my hand too good. I was in the
Mhm.
regular school, right? That's before I
Mhm.
went in the sex education, and I'd write something, and the teacher would look at me and say, "Your writing looks like chicken scratch. And you won't have to rewrite that 30 times." And oh boy, yes, I got sent to the office. They told me
Mm.
one wrong, and it was all in my head. I went back to
See,
the same school a few years back and went in and talked to the handicapped children,
mhm.
classroom about everything. I was just telling them to, keep, don't give up, and that they
Uh-huh.
were just like everybody else. Things might have been a little different or different, they had to do things in different ways, but they were just
Mhm.
like everybody else. That's what I told them. Took me a
Well,
long time to get permission to go in and do that. That was something I never
yeah.
forget.
And Laura says us adults all need to behave better. Some adult bullies are teaching the kids. Yeah, because they learn from their parents.
Uh-huh. That's true.
I
She's
always,
right
yeah,
on that.
I always
That's true.
taught Shannon, and I've only got the one child, that I had better never see you making fun of a person that is crippled or has mental disabilities. Better never see that.
Yeah. Nowadays, you just, you don't know what people do to you. You just,
I know it.
the best kids can make fun of kids, and it was just a laugh it off thing or something.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, sometimes if you look at people the wrong way,
I know
that's
it.
not bad.
We live in a very scary world that it's not getting any
Mhm.
better. And I think I was telling the chat earlier that the picture, the short that I did on of Jesus and the cross, it said it wasn't the nails that held Jesus to the cross, but the love. Oh my God, Bryan, that got 2K views, and that was a short. Can you
Yeah.
imagine that?
Wow.
I know. Last night I kind of go through there. My mind's always thinking about things, and it was at 1.9, and I looked today and it's at 2K, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
What is that on?
My Genuinely Gina channel, the short about where Jesus is carrying the cross, and you can see the Roman soldiers off in the distance, and then another
Oh
picture.
yeah,
That one, can you believe? I mean,
that's the one that was on. That was the one that was on there late last night.
well, I think I dropped that one maybe last week sometime.
Oh, it's
It
one
was
put
a
on there last
short,
week.
but I think that we
2000.
should
Wow.
remind people
That's a
they need to
miracle.
see that. That yes, that was a miracle because he rose from the dead
2000.
on the third day, and people need to see that. Here we have this. He came to earth in human form. He lived. He ministered, he lived, he was betrayed, and he was crucified. And he did that all for us. And it doesn't hurt to let people know that, hey, this man loved you so much that he died for you. And you
That's
wasn't
right.
even born yet. How amazing is
Yeah.
that?
Well, yeah, I just say myself. I'm not just like including everybody, but I guess everybody would say, everyone. Sometimes I guess we complain about some of the littlest things, and then we don't. When you think back what he had to go through with,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't imagine that. You know what I mean? That's just evil.
Oh, yeah. There was evil.
And it's just like nowadays. I mean, I believe
Mhm.
some people has demons in them. I don't know if
Oh,
that's
yes, and
right.
that was another miracle he performed. He exorcised demons as well.
Mm-hmm.
And, and there are demons out there. Don't get it twisted. They're out
Look at
there.
that people.
They
Yeah.
really are. And well, like on my last live, me Josie talked about the lady seeing Satan, and the lady telling me about her dad witnessing that in his hospital room before his death. But see,
Yeah.
this man was a Christian, and like I said, Satan just wanted to get that last uppercut in, so to speak. Hey, Joanne, welcome in.
Hi, Joanne.
But I was just I couldn't, I don't know. It's like God led me to do that, and I know He did because He had to. It got too much response, and I just happened to have that when my father-in-law passed away, and we was going through his things. I seen that picture, and I said, I want that. Naturally, being my husband's wife and my brother, I got it, but
Right.
something about it when I looked at it, it just was very resonating within my soul, and it really was. So, but
There's a lot of things, but I look back now when I was younger, well, I didn't probably understand when I was real young. Well, all of us, I guess, you can look back and think of like things that happened
mm-hmm,
that you couldn't explain, and then there a lot of them are miracles.
mm-hmm,
People don't, you know, understand that. If they
well,
believe, what I mean, that
mm-hmm,
they understand that more than somebody that doesn't believe. It's just
right.
like, oh, that's funny, or I hope that happens again, or I hope it don't happen, or what I mean.
Yeah, I
Teenagers.
know exactly what you mean. It's like, God is showing them something. He really is that, hey, I'm here, I'm alive, I'm real. That's what I think the point behind that is. Like the saying goes, there's just as much bad in the best of us and just as much good in the worst of us. And I
Yes.
believe that to be very true. We all have
It's a sad thing is it's a lot that some people can give, and do, and
Mm-hmm.
they will not do it for nothing.
Yeah.
Just makes no sense. Or like giving to somebody or helping somebody if they can, and they just don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's sad. You know what I mean?
Right. We
In the
should.
future, that can be taken away from them, and then you know they gotta at the end of time
Mm-hmm.
they can enjoy everything and not just care about anyone. But at the
Mm-hmm.
end of time, all that'll be taken away from them in
Yeah.
different ways. I'm scared not to try to help somebody because I done been through everything.
Mm-hmm. You know how it
I'm not
feels.
saying that I'm thankful that I went through it, but
You didn't
I'm
want to go
thankful
through
that
that
I learned.
again. Right.
I'm thankful that I learned. I would not be the person I am, I don't think.
Right. Because a lot of our situations that we go through either shapes us in a positive manner or negative. It's all how you look at it. When God's involved, it's always positive. We
That's what I
can
don't
wake
understand
up.
when you try to
Mhm.
be positive around people, some people, and they don't understand it. Or if you don't do certain things that they do, you're not normal. And when you're doing or trying to do the right thing, and they don't understand that.
Yeah, because the devil has got their heart, and naturally they want to do his bidding, and anything that is remotely Christ like, they don't have nothing to do with it. The devil has got them by the pant leg.
Yeah. And apparently, when I got old enough to know the difference, I was wondering about the parents. What did
Mm-hmm.
they do? What did they believe? And I remember some of them, they would had weird, I don't know what you call it, don't call it religions or things that they believed in, but it was not what we believe in.
Right.
I don't know what it was.
Well, that
But
goes
the
right
thing,
back.
saying that some people have to go through so much in order to believe something or have some faith.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the faith, I had that going through some of my problems, and that helped me get through it.
Yeah. And you
I can
recognize
tell
that.
you, after I've been through all of that, I don't fear things like some people that hasn't been through anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like going to I don't know where and back, um, but it made a better person out of me.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
thankful that I'm thankful that I have the heart and the mindset that I have right now.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say that. It's
Yeah.
not like it taught me a lesson, but it's no. When I look back at that, I think twice before I say things and do things to hurt somebody else or feelings. I just don't understand people. I don't. But I guess this maybe hope this would help somebody.
Yes. And that's why I really
Don't give
wanted
up and
to.
yeah,
Hmm.
believe, have faith. Because sometimes you can. I would think if a lot of people that don't have any belief or faith, when you go
Hmm.
through certain things like I went through, and what other people go through, some people go through worse things.
Hmm.
And as you know, a lot of them believe then.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
And some of them get through it through drugs, alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how
Mm-hmm.
they do it. And that you can get drunk, but you still wake up in the morning, and that same person still you're staring at that yourself.
That's
The only
right.
thing you got a bad headache, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And then we're talking about the addictions to these substances and alcohol, and that affects a lot of people. But not only does it destroy that person, it destroys everyone around them. You
You're
know.
exactly right. Words almost came in my mouth. Destroys everything around them.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah, I think, well, Laura, yeah, she's right.
and it
Self-medicating.
causes so many. It causes child abuse. mental abuse, which is sometimes worse than child abuse because words hurt. You might get over a bruise or an abrasion, but that mental abuse, that stays with the person, especially when you're a child.
Yeah.
But, but anyway,
Yeah.
huh?
Also, I'll be doing something from lab soon, and for everybody here to come to.
Oh, yeah.
And whoever wants to come up or something like that.
Do what, hon?
I said, anybody wants to come up on there, that'd be fine. Anybody that's in the chat here.
Yeah, if anybody wants to come up, the link is in that chat. You just have to look at
I do not
me.
understand the computer. I don't. It's like you're trying to get out of pages on the screen,
Mm-hmm.
and the X in the top. Or I don't want to minimize. I want to take it off the screen. It won't go off. But yeah, you know what I'm at.
Oh, I know what you mean.
It's something that could have stopped that because it knew what I was going to talk about today. So
right.
Makes me wonder. But I just checked the computer a week or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
Memory and all that stuff. Sometimes you get more memory or bigger hard drive because it's full or it's out of date and whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And, I said, well, I can still do something like this on there. Do things like this on there. The cam thing still works, or you can get the you can go buy one like you like that's easier to use. I said, well, the computer be good for that. Still be good for that. I just give me another one. If I get one.
No, there's so much stuff in my phone. I don't even know how it turns on in the morning.
Yeah, and I was asking somebody the other day. I said I ain't had my cell phone but 6 months or something. I thought I had plenty of memory on it, and they had told me to do this and do that, take off different things. You're running out of space. So
I've seen that, and and these telephone companies that tell you can keep your number, they're lying to you. Don't believe them. This phone here, I had my SD card transferred because I know they can't do it. So therefore, I ain't falling for that. You take that and transfer it in my phone before I leave here because I'm not technically advanced.
Oh yes, yeah. You pay that much money for it, and
right.
a lot of things they won't do to it because they want you to come back.
Right. So,
and then
Bryan, go ahead. That's where they get their money.
Yeah, if you don't go back, makes me wonder how do the people who work on the phones. They would pay them, for example, say that works in there, that works on the phones. But then if people didn't come back, they'd be paying them and they wouldn't be making nothing. So it's a trick right there.
One thing I know they're good at is charging, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I don't believe in no big flamboyant plan. I just want to, but.
Yeah, I think law, I hear commercials for legal things that will alter a man. That's concerning. Yeah.
Alter a mind, that is, yes, it is. It really is.
Was it like the drugs and stuff coming over the border? Why don't somebody want to stop that? Why is that?
Because some of your ranking officials are making money off of it. And I hate to say it that way. And they do smuggle it across, but somewhere somebody's making money off of it. And let me tell you
something. Children, teenagers.
Yeah. Because that's.
I don't understand.
Well, the young people are the next generation of their money. They have to get the young kids on that stuff. and get them strung out because that's where their money comes from,
Or how,
self-medicate.
I mean, but yeah, we can spend money and, you know, I want to get into politics too much, right?
No, and that's usually we don't. I made a boo boo, but usually we don't speak about politics because, and I forgot to make that rule because politics and Christianity do not go together.
No, they don't.
There's too much corruption, and that's why we're in trouble today.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
why
Mm-hmm.
I believe in helping someone, but not to the point where it's putting limitations on, us in America's people. It won't be long that they'll be over there here on us. And
Yes, that's right.
I'm not beyond helping somebody, but we're they're spending our Social Security is what they're doing.
I mean, I was thinking the other day about that after you was talking about doing this, and I was saying, you know what? If this could help one person, and that's just wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yes, because when that person transfers that to another person, you know, inch by inch is a cinch, but yard by yard is hard. But sometimes it does just take that one person that sparks that interest, and where there's a spark, there's sometimes a fire. But yeah, that's what we can't change the world globally, but we can try to help these people one person at a time, is what my belief is.
Yes, it's a lot of people out there that want somebody to help them,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got a lot of people out here that will not help them or let them
Mm-hmm.
get help. I guess. Yeah.
Yep,
But
because
it's DYSTONIA. That's what they diagnosed me with at the time.
okay. Oh, wow.
Dystonia.
Wow, so you had been through not many years of all that medical stuff. And one thing about God's love, it has no side. Yes, it does have a side effect. You're very happy and you're safe. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it really is. So, but what we were talking about earlier, Brian, I have a person that has donated Bibles. They asked not to be acknowledged. The person does not want anyone to know about it, but we are going to do drawings on the channel for Bibles. The person, all they have to do is send me their information, and I'll therefore send it to her as long as it's within the U.S.
That's
And
awesome.
we'll get you your Bible. Now, another good idea is getting a Bible is good, but if you feel moved to give that Bible to someone that really needs it, that God kind of moves you toward, give it to them. I'm not telling you what to do with your Bible,
That's an awesome idea.
but it does get that word out there,
Yeah.
and you're giving them the gift of love, because that means that you cared enough about that person to give them the good news about eternal life. And it's all there in the pages. Everything that we need to know about salvation. So, like the Gideons, they distribute a lot of Bibles throughout the
Uh-huh.
U.S. You'll see them in hotels and motels and stuff like that. But who says we can't? We're not on a larger scale, but who says we can't do that? Right? So,
Yes, I agree with you 100%.
oh,
And it makes you wonder why more people ain't doing that can do it.
Well,
That's
a
something.
lot of people are afraid of
Oh
re-
yeah,
reprisal, being made fun
that's right.
of. But you know what? I'd rather be made fun of down here on earth than with Satan instead
Yeah.
of in heaven, wouldn't you?
Yes. Yes. I
So,
see. I know what you're saying.
the
Yeah.
tongue is the smallest muscle in your body, but can be the most powerful, you
Yeah.
know.
Something like that that you can do. You think you might can do it. Then if you don't do it, then that lays on you.
Hmm.
That if you don't do it, it might be.
And then there are
You
those.
know what we're thinking. So we think about doing that or giving one to somebody. Then if we
Hmm.
don't do it, I would feel like to me it'd be a price I might pay for that.
Well, and then in another instance where people, they know you're Christian and they take advantage of it and they do things to you on purpose.
Uh-huh.
See? And well, if
I've
you
dealt with
believe,
that, yes.
yeah, and if you believe in God, then you'll, the, excuse me, this, that, and the other. But God does forgive, but God is not a fool. He knows what's up. And when Satan sends these people, and that's who sends them, to challenge your faith, you just
Yeah.
kindly say, I know who my Redeemer is, and then just
Yeah.
walk away because 9 times out of 10, they're going to ride you anyway. And when you put the stops, put those brakes on and just say, hey, I love you in spite of what you just said to me, but you know what? I don't have to have anything to do with you neither. So we'll leave it
That's
at that.
true, yes, yes, uh-huh.
So,
Hey,
and it's,
that was I thought that was gonna be tough for me.
uh huh.
It was like okay, 10 different people that they're not the worst in the world, but things they do
Mm hmm.
that later could put them in jail or they're not the
Yeah.
worst people, but it's a habits, you know what I mean?
Mm hmm.
I don't
So,
have nothing to do with it.
yeah,
I'm staying with it. I'm staying with it. Keep my circle kind of small, you know what I mean?
me and you both. I don't believe in a real large. If I'm associate, and I'm not saying I'm better than anybody, but if I'm
No,
associated with somebody,
same here.
it's gonna be. They're not gonna come to me and talk about somebody else and stir up dissension because I'll cut myself out of the situation real quick. You know.
Yeah, no, no, I just always thought, wondered, just like the drugs and things like that. I always wondered if I'd have got in the car with them at times that they asked me years ago,
Hmm.
I'd be here.
Well, that just
Yeah,
goes to show that they are not God and they do not hold the pages of your life. God does. And however, you would think some of these doctors would think they're God incarnate because that's how they act. And I know that sounds pretty stern, but you know what I'm talking about.
I went through it. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You're right.
The old saying,
Anyways,
never really
keep it
judge a
going.
person till you've walked a mile in their shoes.
That's right. And people
So,
don't want to hear the truth
hmm.
about a lot of things. The truth hurts a lot of people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sure does. We're going to have a drawing now, Brian. I've chosen a number. It's right here that I'll hold it up that no one knows about, and it is for the Bible. Now, if you win this drawing, we're only going to go like from 1 to 20.
If I can get to the chat, I'll figure out how I can do that.
Can you comment in the chat by chance? Or you can tell me
Oh,
what your number is verbally
oh,
because everyone's in there but me. So if you guys would please drop in the chat numbers from 1 to 20.
They want studio. All right, let's see. That's on the telephone. I
And
had to
the
sit there
winner,
on top of the laptop. I hold it up.
there you
Let's
go.
see if
Yeah.
I can get that to work. Yeah, I guess I can type, but I can't see the top. I guess I can just put in and send.
Yes. So there's a number on this paper right here. The winner of is going to win a Bible, compliments of an unnamed donor, which chose not to be named. And when you win, I'll need your address. Huh?
I wish I could see it says chat with everyone in the studio, but I can't see at the top. It's gray looking.
Huh. Do you have it clicked on like live chat or let me go up here and take a look.
I don't know what I've done here.
Oh, well.
Comments.
Tell me, I can always put your number in for you. Okay, y'all, 1 to 20. The first one who you have to be, if you go, the one that's closest without going over wins, and you will have a Bible sent to you. And I'd show it to you, but you probably couldn't see it. It's on my phone. But I will and give me your email, and I'll send you a picture of it. So, all right, everyone, numbers 1 to 20 in the chat, please. Only one, and whoever comes closest without going over will be the winner. So, ready? I know everyone has a Bible, but this is a courtesy from a very sweet friend of mine.
I don't know if I can get anything to you, man. It ain't showing up on there.
Huh. You guys put your numbers in from 1 to 20.
I'm trying to get back to see if I can see that.
Okay, so Laura has so many, but let's see. Is there anyone in there that Laura's got many Bibles? So I don't see any numbers in the chat, and Laura has a lot. So this is what I'm going to do. Since Bryan, you are a guest on my live, guess what? You win. The Bible goes to you. I do have your address. There's no other claim, no other numbers. Laura has plenty, and I'm sure the chat would be okay with that specific, the Bible going to you, and she will send it to you. I have your information already, so we're good on that.
Awesome.
So that goes to my
point to somebody else, or give it to somebody else. Things are coming to somebody's coming to me already.
Okay, there you go. So everything happens for a reason, and she will get that to you. Yes.
Well, that's awesome. See, that's a blessing.
And a Bible is an outreach to people. Within those pages are the truth, the light, and the way. And without that, we are lost. I'm telling you.
Yeah, my mother always had a bunch of Bibles. I remember little ones and different color ones. And, you know, made by different people, but they was always around me.
Mm-hmm.
And she would always set them, in certain places, I guess, so we pay attention to them.
Right, so that she's giving you a hint to read those Bibles. So, Bryan, we're going to go ahead and close. And would you do me the honor of saying the closing prayer, please? I really appreciate it.
Yes, well, thank you, Lord, for this chat. Thank you for Gina. This was a miracle to me today, just to have these people listening, and I hope this conversation and chat will bless somebody else when they listen to it or read it. the blind will hear it. People that can see it, maybe it will help someone else. Or someone hears a story like, man, maybe they will get on YouTube or some platform or something and tell their story. Thank you, Lord, for everyone in the chat. Thank you for Gina. And and I'm so thankful that I'm here today and I was able to get on here and talk to such amazing person and beautiful people in the chat. It's just a blessing to me. Amen.
Amen. That was beautiful,
I
Bryan.
can say more. I can say more, but it
I
made my
know
day.
it.
And I looking at it and I see the people who came, and I'm not
Mhm.
disappointed. When I see some names, I was not shocked, and that's thank you. And,
Well, I appreciate you.
I'm sorry about the car. You can laugh about that. That was just one of one of my icons. I thought it would be an eagle on there, not a car.
Yeah, there's a not real sharp looking car. What kind of car is that?
Some Mustang. That's just the reason why I put that picture on the thing on my
Uh-huh.
StreamYard. So when I go live, you can put
Mm-hmm.
the ego that's on my channel, or you can put
Uh-huh.
upload different pictures. I didn't know that one was. I must have been fooling with it.
Mm-hmm.
You probably seen me testing StreamYard. Sometimes I do it late at night.
Yes, I think I have seen that. I'm like, what is Bryan
Yeah,
doing up so late?
yeah. I just do that sometimes to try to make sure I get the settings. And what it is, I
Right.
must have had that picture on there, uploaded that
Mm-hmm.
one.
You
I was
did,
fooling
yeah.
with them to see how to upload them. And I get better, hopefully, at it.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, I do some more my own self.
Oh wow. Yeah, I've seen some of your. I like the ones where you got the rooster coming out. That is so where it's like almost
I
splitting
like
in
to
half.
do the editing stuff. Some of it does
Mhm.
kind of silly, I guess, to some people.
Nah,
But
that's
you know,
what you love, Bryan. And if
yeah,
people love you, then
yeah.
it
I've
don't
had
make
some
no
comments, a
difference,
couple of
right?
comments from people.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple of comments from people. Why is this 3 minutes long? But it ain't
Mm-hmm.
doing anything. I don't know. I just say it was just editing. It's just something different.
Joanne says she'll have to rewatch the show. I had some tests I had to have, so I came in the chat in late. Joanne, what kind of test did you have done, hun? I
Thank you,
hope
Laura. Appreciate that.
I hope everything turned out for you. I know when we have tests, we're a nervous wreck. So
Yes, we'll be praying for you, Joanne, for everything.
yes, we'll be praying for you. We know that the significance of prayer and how powerful prayer truly is. So
Yeah. Later is better than not at all. Nothing wrong with that.
that's right. And see,
You're
people can
fine.
watch this replay, and even though they could not attend, they'll get the message that we were putting out there
Yeah.
about miracles. So we're
This
going
is
to
what makes
go.
people happy. It's so many positive things that people can do. Uh, you don't have to have a lot to do something. You don't have to have a whole lot to say something nice or be kind to somebody. You don't have to
Mm-hmm,
be able to give somebody something if you ain't got money to afford to give somebody something. But
mm-hmm.
you can give them hope. You can talk to them or just kind words. And
Oh,
people,
yeah.
because I lived through things, and when people were kind to me, which I didn't ask for it helped. I do. I remember that much.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of support, and as I think about it, and I'm thankful that I had it. But
Oh,
I
yeah.
went through all that, and I'm not gonna say I'm glad I had it because it made me who I am today. But makes you
Mm-hmm.
wonder, you know. Don't
Because
take
you had it,
things
you
for
God
granted.
had a purpose for you. He had a plan for Bryan.
Yeah, that's always in my head. A
And what we're
purpose.
talking about right there and your testimony was it right there exactly
Yeah,
is
and I'm person that, and it's a good way to be, but as long as it don't bother some people. I'm
right.
guilty sometimes of like what what can I do that I'm not doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
So
God will always leads us to what we need to do and puts those
uh,
thoughts in our mind, and it's not,
that's
you
right.
know. But anyway, we're going to close now. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I think we had a very interesting conversation. And Bryan, thank you so much for coming in. Don't worry
Very
about
welcome.
the
Hopefully we
phone
can do it
call,
again. Hopefully.
but I really
Y'all
enjoyed
feel
your
blessed.
story and hearing everything. I knew you had a lot to say, and I wanted you to
Oh yeah,
get
I
that
don't
out
mind doing it again. I don't mind doing it
there.
again.
Okay,
I can
then.
break down some things or something like
Mm-hmm.
something other than myself, some things.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it's like my mother, what she's been through, what amazes me about her, she'll still smile. She'll still laugh.
Mm-hmm.
When I see that,
Right.
that makes my day.
Oh, absolutely. So we'll go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. And I'm not giving up. I'm going to do for her
Mm-hmm.
and then keep going forward. I'm not going to stop. And something gives me the energy to do for her.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you that she's my angel. I call her my angel. I ain't ashamed
Oh.
of it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she's like gold. To me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, can I remember how she got me through all this stuff when I was growing up, and now I
Well,
give it back to her. I remember things she done for me, and
mm-hmm.
now I just see something she likes. Well, you know that part, don't you?
Oh yes, you're a
Uh-huh.
good. You are a
That's
wonderful
good. It's
man,
funny.
Bryan.
I told her, I said, you can't bring things here to this place. I said, when you get home, I said, you're going to have some little things.
Mm,
Yeah. It just
absolutely.
makes me so happy to talk about it.
So we're gonna
I don't
say
know.
goodbye. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I
We're gonna
feel blessed.
say yes, and we everyone, and that's why I know everyone was just amazed at your testimony. They were hanging on your every word. That's why the chat was quiet. So we're going to say goodbye to you guys now. Thank you so much for coming. See you next week when the subject will be angels among us. So until then, you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you the next time. Thank you. Bye.
Take care, everybody. Have a great day.
Here we go.